So how did the domestic cat arise? Domestic cats have been traced back to a single wild ancestor whose relatives live in the Middle East. This evolution from vicious predatorial cat to domestic cat happened about 12,000 years ago, with the earliest archaeological evidence found in Cyprus 9,500 years ago. This chart shows the Near Eastern origin of cat domestication. The domestic cat has been derived from 5 founders: the European wildcat, the Near Eastern wildcat, the Asian wildcat, South African wildcat, and the Chinese desert cat. The Chinese desert cat, which is pictured here, is known to live in mountains, be nocturnal. It is adjusted to harsh climate extremes. It helps control the pest populations because they prey on the Pica species, but this has also endangered them because of the poisoning of this prey. This is a picture of the European wildcat, which is also predominantly nocturnal. However, it is bigger and stouter than domesticated cats. Its skull is larger, and its back legs are shorter and stronger. They also have bushy tails and long, soft fur. Pictured here is the Near Eastern wildcat, which is very good hearing. It's different from European wildcats because they have lighter builds. They have 2 main distinguishing factors from domesticated cats. They have reddish-brown ears and long legs. Next up is the South African wildcat, pictured here. It is known for being nocturnal and having an easily adjustable diet. It is also believed that domesticated cats came from these African wildcats because the first domesticated cats surfaced in Egypt approximately 4,000 years ago. Finally, we have the Asian wildcat pictured here. Unlike the others, it is a daytime cat that lives in deserts. It gets water from the prey they eat. These wildcats were originally hunted for their beautiful fur, but that stopped in the late 70s when it was deemed illegal. Both Near Eastern and South African wildcats are phylogenetically very close to the domesticated cat, because they both belong to a single polytypic species. However, due to the divergence between Eastern and African wildcats about 20,000 years ago, domesticated cats are phylogenetically closer to African cats.
Pretty girl, it's you and me, just walking by the melody. So carry on, the day is long, the day is just a wayward song.
To understand what makes domestic cats different from their ancestors, we must first compare their similarities. They share behavioral qualities due to their innate and natural behavior as animals. This includes their stalking ability, tendency to mark their territory, capability of being a carnivore, and nocturnal activity. In addition to these behavioral similarities, there are also anatomical similarities. Cats have kept certain abilities over time, such as the use of their canines, rough sandpaper-like tongues, retractable claws, and soft pads on their toes and feet, which help to reduce their sound when they walk, thus contributing to their stalking ability. Studies show that they have 95% of the same genes as their ancestors. Despite these similarities, domestic cats are different from their ancestors. Due to the difficulty in conducting an experiment based on behavioral analyses, researchers turned to the study of genes to find the differences between these two. It was determined that 13 genes changed. From previous knockout studies, the genes seemed to play a role in cognition and behavior, including fear and the ability to learn new behaviors when given food rewards. This led to the finding that domestic cats are less fearful than wild cats. Some of the genes were also found to code for glutamate receptors, which play a key role in learning and memory. Cats have undergone less intense but more recent evolutionary pressure than dogs, to put this in comparison. So why did the domestication of cats even occur? In order to figure this out, we must know what it means to be domesticated. There are 6 criteria for successful domestication. The animals must be easy to feed, they must grow and mature at a rate that makes economic sense, they have to breed well in captivity to keep the population going, they have to be generally nice animals, they can't be prone to freakouts, and the social structure of the species has to be strong. The initial signs of a species that could be domesticated was through the commensalistic relationship between cats and humans. Cats would eat mice that would otherwise have eaten farmers' grains, whereas humans would provide these cats with food. It turns out that experts believe that cats domesticated themselves over time, thus producing dozens of the house cats we have today. However, if you think about it, cats, unlike dogs, are really only semi-domesticated. They only recently split off from wild cats, and some even still breed with their wild relatives. So there was surprise when they found DNA evidence of domestication of cats. Did you know that it's estimated that 74 to 96 million cats are owned in the United States alone? Also, that in a shelter, 37% of the cats there are adopted. However, despite these staggering statistics, in 2016, there are only about 73 breeds of cats that are identified as domestic cats.